The final video I did in 2024 was a video titled The Last Revolver. I'll put a link to that video up here. That video was about a Smith & Wesson model 66-1, the last revolver carried on duty in the Washtenaw County Sheriff's Department. And in that video, I also compared it to my 66-2. By the way, it is empty. And I explained a little bit about the gun and did some comparison between the two in that video. And I talked about how I won it, because this was actually one that I won out in the National Police Shooting Championships out in Des Moines, Iowa in 1986. And a couple of people had commented that they'd like to see more on the 66-2 that I won. So that's what this video is going to be about. Now, we're not, I did some shooting in this video. I took it out to my range a couple of days ago. First time in a long time that this gun has been out to play, and first time in probably even longer that I've actually shot something resembling a match. So I did a little different. Instead of shooting plates at my 12, 25, and 50 yards, I shot paper this time. I actually shot the I think it's, I can't remember the match number, match 10 or 11 or something like that, in the National Police Shooting Championships, which is the service revolver match. That is one of 3 matches that are part of an aggregate to be able to win the service championships out of the Nationals, which I came in not number 1. I was a bridesmaid, never a bride in that one. Came in number 2. That's how I won that gun. So I'll talk a little bit more about that, and then we'll roll in the shooting footage of the actual, my late rendition of the service revolver match at the Nationals. Stay with me. All right, I'm going to link to a couple other videos in this as we go along, and I'm also going to build my excuses ahead of time. Before we get to that, I want to talk just very briefly about the 66-2. Again, I've already shown that it is empty, and I'll probably roll in some closer footage of this as we go along. The difference between the -2 and the -1, as I mentioned in the original video, -2 no longer has recessed chambers. It does have a smooth face trigger, which is something I actually prefer. Of course, it's a no-lock gun, does not have a separate, well, I won't get into what they call it. Doesn't have the lock device up here, and does have a firing pin mounted in the hammer. Now, I didn't use this gun to win anything. I did win the gun by using something else. I used my Smith & Wesson model 586, which I talked about and I did a video. I no longer have that. It's in possession of my daughter/grandson right now because he kind of liked it. I passed it on to him. That was a video I'll put up here also. And so the police service revolver aggregate, or service revolver championships, involves the aggregate of 3 different scores. The distinguished match, which is required to use a double action revolver with a barrel length no longer than 6 inches, 38 or 357. That's a 600 point or 60 shot course of fire all the way out to 50 yards, 24 of the shots in 50 yards. Then there's the service revolver match, which is barrel length no longer than 4 inches and double action again, and that's fired out to 25 yards. That's the one that I'm going to do here in just a few minutes. And then there's the off-duty match, and that is a 5 or 6 shot 38 special revolver, double action again, and a barrel length no longer than 2 3/4 inches. I used a 2.5 inch model 66, I believe, in that one. So the service revolver championship is an aggregate of those 4. 600 points in one, 420 in the other, and 400 in the other, so it's a total of 1,420 points, and lo and behold, I came close on that one. So I ended up with an aggregate between the 6 inch, the 4 inch, and the 2.5 inch of 1,410 with 89 X's, and beat out by 1 point by Stan Holland of the Federal Law Enforcement Training Center, and beat me by 1 point, but a whole bunch of X's. He had a 1411 with 100 X's on that. But I shot that match using my 586. And again, I love that gun. I don't have the 586, so I had to shoot it using the 66. So I'm going to build my excuses in ahead of time. First of all, different gun. The 586, well-tuned, different sights, worked better for me. And I remember that was what, 30, almost 40 years ago? Wow, long time. Don't have the holster I used in that one anymore. I ended up having to use I think I had a Bianchi model 27 front brake, if I remember right, a lot easier to draw from. All I had that fit the gun is a Buckheimer basket weave thumb brake type. Real hard to get the thumb brake fastened on that one. I no longer had the duty belt, so I ended up using my Core Essentials competition belt. I'll put a link up here on the Core Essentials also. So again, I'm building my excuses. A little bit windy out, I'm out of shape. Okay, there's all my excuses. And I did shoot the course, so let's go take a look at that, and I'll kind of narrate as we go along. So the service revolver match for the National Championships was a 42 round course, starting out at 3 yards, progressing to 7, 15, and 25. At 3 yards, and everything is from a closed holster, duty type holster, and on a B-27 target. So at 3 yards, had to draw and fire 6 shots in 8 seconds, and again that's from a snapped holster. So that's how I'm starting out, and not the best draw practice from this particular holster, but I did get the gun out one-handed. And didn't do all that bad. Got them all in there, but again, I'm not so handy with just one hand. I did rush it a little bit and had a total time of 6.51 seconds. I was okay with that. If I'd have slowed down just a little bit, maybe I wouldn't have blown that last one.
Load and make ready.
All right, then we move back to 7 yards. And here we had to fire 12 rounds in 25 seconds with a 6-shot gun. Obviously that means 1 reload in there. And again, trouble snapping the holster, but once I got it snapped, then we're 7 yards away, and I've got to shoot 6, reload, and shoot 6, and we'll see how it goes. Got it out okay, and the gun shooting just a little bit low left. Maybe that's me, I don't know. It's just a hair low in the X-ring there, but all those first 6 were in the X-ring. Fairly decent time on the reload, and back up on target, and again a little bit low, a little high on that one. Centered, and all of those 12 look like they were in the X's.
I could live with those shots. Total time 21.22 seconds.
21.22 on that. Now in the Nationals they use turning targets, of course.
6 shots.
We're not using turning targets here. So now they will normally change targets. I'm kind of short on B-27 targets, so I kept the same one up. This is 6 shots fired in 8 seconds, again from the holster, but this is 2 hands, not 1 hand, 15 yards. Lots of trouble getting that Buckheimer holster snapped.
All right, 6 shots.
You can hear a little wind rumbling in there.
Very uneven ground. Is the line ready?
And there's not even ground to stand on either. All right, a little trouble getting the gun out of the holster. And first couple of shots are okay, but then I lost my rhythm and pulled the next couple rounds down, and then finally got back on for the last shot. Not quite where I would like to be. And actually, there was a quarter of a second over. Now, in a turning target, I still probably would have got that last shot in, but still not as good as I would like to have done in that stage.
18 rounds, minute and a half. 6 kneeling, 6 left hand, left side of the barricade, 6 right hand, right side of the barricade.
All right, stage 4, 25 yards, 6 rounds kneeling with support, 6 rounds standing left hand barricade, 6 rounds standing right hand. I don't have a good barricade. My gazebo post is all I can use, and it's not angled perfectly toward, so I've got angles that I'm working on. It just doesn't give me good support.
Is the line ready?
So again, I'm building my excuses.
Line is ready.
Yeah, plus I don't get down into and out of kneeling quite as well as I used to, and you can see I don't have a lot of good support on that angled post there. And I'm shooting a little bit to the left. Some of that is grip, and again, I don't have a good solid support there, so my grip is just a little bit off. Lost my rhythm a little bit, and I'm definitely pulling some to the left. The last couple of shots finally settled in. Decent reload. Yeah, I had one case stuck that didn't come out because I got in a hurry on it. Left hand, again, I don't do a lot of left-hand revolver shooting, but here we go. And again, that's a little bit low, a little left again. And the wind's blowing the target a little bit, but not enough to matter. So low left shots on that, another low, that was at least a 10. And back into the 9. Fairly decent reload. Not super fast, but again, there's no huge hurry when you got a minute and a half to do this. Then back to right-handed. And I think I'm still, well, I scattered a little bit. I lost my rhythm on this, and that pulled that one shot high. It took a little while to settle in. Finally got the last shot where it belonged.
69.63 seconds. Should have slowed down.
so just under 70 seconds. We'll go forward and look at the targets for the scoring, and we'll see what we did. So down there's a definite 8 for sure. 2 8s. 1, 2. Is this one an 8? I don't think it is. So with a template on the line and a 38 caliber hole template on top of it, according to NRA rules, if the leaded edge of the bullet touches the line, it counts as the higher score. So that one just touched. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and again, we put the template on that to give me a line and the 38 hole over it. That touches the line. That is the leaded edge of the bullet touches the line. So what do I say? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Now again, in competition, you pass your target, so you're not scoring your own target. Somebody else is scoring yours. You're scoring somebody else's. And we even I had a jeweler's loop. We had overlays. Can't plug it. And don't see anything out. So 22, 24, 34, 40, sort of 18 X's. So we're down to 12, 14, 16 out of 420. Gives you 404. Not great. Not great, but considering, I can live with it. I really want to appreciate you staying with me through this kind of a long storytelling type video without a whole lot of shooting going on, but it was kind of fun to go back and resurrect the matches from 1986, 1987. Actually, I shot that all the way up to, I think, 1989, and just kind of fun to do. Did terrible at it. It shows that I really need to get back out and do some more practice. So anyway, thanks for staying with me.